Hi guys, and welcome to the Ace Tanker for the STA-1, the Tier 8 Japanese medium tank. Now, I did a garage review about a month and a half ago, and shortly after doing that garage review, unfortunately my circumstances changed and I haven't been able to play very much World of Tanks over the last 6 weeks or so. The content on the channel suffered as a result, but happily things are back to normal now. But I did get an opportunity to play once or twice over the last 6 weeks, and this was one of those play sessions, and I was platooned with Bringy. Now, in that garage review, you saw me actually decide to play the STA-1. I set it up, I put equipment on the tank, and I figured that, you know what, let's just play the STA-1, because basically I can use the second gun to the second 90mm to unlock the final 90mm. So I've only got 185mm of penetration, 240 alpha damage on the second gun on the STA-1. So to all intents and purposes, at the moment, the STA-1 as it's set up here is identical to the STA-2, the Tier 8 Japanese premium tank. It uses exactly the same gun, and it's not that much slower, not that much less maneuverable. So it's pretty much an STA-2 at the moment, while I'm trying to grind out the final gun. Now, on the garage review, as I say, I set it up. My crew aren't very good. I moved the Chinukai crew into this tank because my only decent medium tank crew for Japanese tanks are in my Chiri, which I'm still trying to flaming ace. But I needed a crew for the STA-1. I took them out of the Chinukai, and as you know, if you're familiar with my channel and familiar with previous videos, I'm not a big fan of the Chinukai, so therefore I never play it, therefore the crew never gets a workout, and therefore the crew aren't very good. So essentially what I'm saying is I've got a poor crew in here, don't have 6th sense, don't have skills, and I retrain them for credits, so they're not even a 100% crew, and I've got the second gun, which basically makes this the STA-2, and it's my second game in the tank. So on that garage review I said I'd start playing the tank, and I did. The game before this one was my first ever game in the STA-1, and unfortunately, even though I did okay in it, we ended up losing. But this is my second game. We decided to keep playing. This is my second game in the STA-1, and as you can see, I've even forgotten to put camo. On the tank. So second game in the STA-1. Set up as an STA-2 with a pretty poor crew. My crew are at about 80%. So let's just get going. We're here on a nice matchup. It's Lakeville. It's a Tier 8 game, so Bringy and I are top tier. And I'm, as I say, only played one game in this tank prior to this, and it was a loss, so this is my second game in the tank, and I'm still just testing the tank. But from that first game, I discovered that the gun depression was actually quite good, and I thought the camo rating on the tank was actually quite good. But move up, I was going to move a little bit further up, but our Chaffee encounters an enemy Chaffee in the middle. I don't have 6th sense, so I want to be quite careful here. Just wondering whether or not I'm going to be able to get any shots. Chaffee needs to fall back, and I don't need to worry about it. So our Chaffee takes out their Chaffee. There's a Borsig down on the middle road. And I'm just pushing forward, hoping the Chaffee gets some spots. Now, with 185mm of penetration, the reason I decided to start using this gun is because there are lots of Tier 8 medium tanks with less penetration than 185. So 185 is not good, but it's definitely not as bad as some tanks. And again, miss out on an opportunity of damage on the T-37, and I'm falling back because I don't have 6th sense. Not sure whether or not I got spotted. But if you look at the minimap, we've sent a KV-2, a KV-3, and a T-37 down the 1-2 lines. And they're starting to encounter enemy tanks. So our Chaffee dies, there goes our eyes in the middle, and unfortunately we've got an IS-6 top tier heavy sitting in the middle, and the IS-6 has terrible view range, so I don't know what he's trying to accomplish there. Yeah, it's another new player in a Tier 8 premium tank. But he's got no view range, so he's not going to be effective. And yes, I've got to fall back. I've just noticed that we're getting pushed on the 1-2 lines. Now I'm saying to Bringy, we're probably going to need to cover the 1-2. And Bringy is agreeing. Bringy's already moving back to support me. And so that we've got Levas, we've got Super Pershings, we've got a T-29, we've got Sherman Jumbo. on the enemy team, and now there's an IS-6 and an MT-25. The enemy team are pushing the 1-2 lines really badly, or really well. We've just lost our T-37. We're about to lose our KV-3. I was coming back to support, and I realized there's nothing I can do. The KV-3 is going to die before I can get there. Now I'm using standard AP, 185mm of penetration on. Unfortunately, the first tank around the corner is the IS-6, and I go for his driver's hatch. Now Bringy has pulled up, he's right here beside me, and I'm telling Bringy, listen Bringy, we can't work this corner. There are too many tanks. Too many tanks. And I bounced the lower glacis on the IS-6. So Bringy and I are communicating on TS, and I'm telling Bringy, get back, get to A7, get back. I'll spot them as they come into cap. So Bringy is going, and we finally get one into the driver's hatch. But we've just lost our KV-2. Hellcat came back to defend as well, but Hellcat's going to not going to be able to hold back the tide. So a lot of dangerous tanks here. And Bringy has finally turned around. He's going to go and support me. So basically, I don't have Sixth Sense. So what I'm going to do, our Hellcat gets taken out. So it's basically just Bringy and myself at the moment. IS-6 completely oblivious in the middle of the map to the fact he's got a mini-map. But we've got a WZ moving back as well, so I need Bringy to move back, and I'm going to be basically doing the spotting as enemy tanks move into cap, and hopefully our team are going to be able to shoot the tanks I'm spotting. So I'm waiting till Bringy is in position. Bringy's told me he's ready. So, okay, time to push. Okay, spotted the Leva, spotted the Super Pershing. Miss a shot on the weak spot on the Super Pershing. Now, I do have good gun depression, but I don't have a lot of armor. Now, the turret armor is surprisingly good. The gun mantlet can bounce, but I've reset the Super Pershing, the Leva has moved up, and now there's a T-29, and now I'm in serious trouble. I fall back, and oh, he only did 107 damage. He's not using the final gun. Okay, there we go. So, because he's using the stock gun, my armor is actually okay. STA doesn't get a lot of armor, but against the T-29, I can ignore him. I need to spot the tanks that are capping. 3 tanks capping, and we reset on like almost 100% cap. Had to ignore the T-29. He's bounced again. We're resetting again. 3 enemy tanks capping, and I reset again. Bringy resets, and we're back down. I'm taking a little bit of damage from the T-29, but he's not really doing that much damage. I've got lots of hit points, so I finally decide cap is down far enough. I can focus on the T-29. We've got the rate of fire. We can just keep him tracked, keep him doing damage, keep doing damage. Our team are continually resetting. So he's bounced another couple of shots, T-29. He's bouncing, and we take him out. So unfortunately, because Bringy's been firing from stealth, the enemy team are really annoyed with him. They're reporting him for cheating. They're calling him a pussy. Yeah, just a bunch of players who don't know how World of Tanks works. So I was doing the spotting, Bringy was doing the shooting, WZ came up to do some spotting as well. But I haven't fired any premium rounds yet. I've got more than enough penetration to go through the side of a turret in a Leva. And there we go, there's kill number 2. And yeah, the IS-6 is still raging. Big Daddy C4 him. He's gonna create a forum post about Bringy. But yeah, spotting mechanics, guys. It really helps if you learn how to play the game before raging and before accusing people of cheating. So Bringy's doing a little bit of trolling in chat, learn to play kiddo, and we've just successfully defended. The WZ came back, the Bringy was doing support, both WZs came back. So really nice result. 4 tanks left on the enemy team. And our IS-6, again, completely oblivious to what's happening on the minimap. He just advanced down the middle of the map. So I was wondering whether or not any tanks were still here, and there we go. Black Prince, recently featured it on the channel. Such a slow tank, and in swampy ground, he's only managed to make it here. He didn't even get to the cap with friendly tanks, but 185mm of penetration, more than enough to go through the side, more than enough to go through the turret. And as I say, I don't fire very much premium ammo unless it's absolutely needed. and didn't need it for the Black Prince. So we're up to 2,000, almost 3,000 damage, 3 kills. It's my second game in the STA-1. Really happy with the performance of the gun. Might be different in a tier 9 game, but I'm sure I got quite a lot of... At this point, I'm thinking, this could be an Ace Tanker. I'm sure I got a lot of assistance damage from spotting the cappers. And I did some cap defense. So we're moving through the swamp, and I'm actually quite surprised at how well the STA is actually moving through swampy ground. It seems to be quite good as regards its ground resistance. So we know that there's a Jagdpanzer IV. We know that there is a Sturre Immel down here. I do have enough hit points to take a hit from the Sturre if he doesn't roll high. So again, just trying to spot maybe for the IS-6. Bringy's moving back. I don't have Sixth Sense, so I'm poking. Trying to encourage whatever tank here is to spot me and shoot me. And I decide to sit still. Nope, still no sign. Bringy's finally moved up to support. So now I'm going to advance, and I've just spotted him. So we got one shot in. He hits me for 447, but we've got the rate of fire. I take out the Sturre, and Bringy takes out the Jagdpanzer IV. So just one tank left on the enemy team. This was an action-packed game. I don't know how many times the enemy team got up to almost 100% cap. But there were times when this looked like a loss, but we managed to pull it back. And just the super perching left now. Don't know what he's been doing for this entire game. You can see that Bringy's far faster, far more maneuverable than me, but he gets within view range. He gets a big shot in. Super perching's on 168. And I miss my kill shot. Bringy misses, and do I get it? Yes, we do. So there we go, kill number 5. Second game in the STA-1 after a loss in the first one, with basically the second gun, not the stock gun, but the second gun, not the final gun, and a pretty crappy crew. And if the tank performs this well with that second gun and with a bad crew, I'm really looking forward to playing the STA-1 when it's fully upgraded and the crew get to 100%. I don't think it's a terrible tank. I thought that the armor would be a problem, but against lower tier tanks, yeah, the armor seems to be quite good. But as I say, I was very lucky the T-29 was had a stock gun, so I really can't judge it. And I haven't been playing World of Tanks very much, so I haven't had an opportunity to hop into the STA-1 very much since then. But yeah, it could be a tank I enjoy. Who knows? So really happy to pick up an Ace Tanker in the second game in my first play session with the tank. And I've got to remember to put camo on it in future, but the camo rating does seem to be quite good on the tank. So we picked up the Ace, we picked up a steel wall. Steel wall in an STA-1, I forgot that happened. And we picked up a high caliber. With the Ace, basically a crappy gun, so really nice. 3,761 damage, so quite close to 4k damage in basically my first game, other than the first game, which was a loss. 5 kills, pity I couldn't have picked up a top gun, but 1328 XP, really happy with that. And as you can see, 23 shots fired, 21 hits, so the gun is still pretty good, even though it's only got 0.38 accuracy on the second gun. It's still actually quite accurate. I've been finding that in the few games I've played in the tank, the gun has actually performed quite well. 240 alpha damage, so really happy with that amount of damage done. So I received 11 hits and managed to bounce 5 in an STA. Poor T-29. But spotted or damaged 7, destroyed 5, and 1,533 assistance damage. Most of that was spotting in the cap as the enemy team were trying to cap, and I ended up doing 62 base defense points myself. 36,500 credits earned in a tier 8 regular tank, so quite happy with that. 1992 with a premium account, and as I say, it's my second game. We lost the first game, so first win in the tank, and it was an Ace Tanker. Really happy with that, and that left me on almost 4,000 XP. So yeah, I think the STA-1 and myself are going to be getting along just fine. I am looking forward to getting back to World of Tanks. I'm looking forward to playing this tank more, but my first impressions of this tank have been quite favorable, even though it's not a very good gun, and even though my crew aren't particularly good. But yeah, if I get more more games like that, I think I'm going to enjoy the STA-1 a lot. I might have a look in my replays folder and see whether or not you guys have sent me in any STA-1 replays and maybe try and feature them on the channel, because I really do want to see more of this tank in action. But that was my first Ace Tanker in the tank. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.